When you think King of the Ring, you think Austin 316, you think the reign of King Booker. You think so many great reigns, but that was all in the past. And we've come to the 21st century, man, when things aren't looking too good for the King of the Ring tournament, when things aren't looking too good for the King of the Ring winners, it just becomes or feels like another Raw or SmackDown match type of pay-per-view. But that's what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss whether or not the King of the Ring is still the same King of the Ring we grew up watching and grew up loving, the same King of the Ring that put rockets on so many of our favorite superstars' backs, or has it just become a typical Friday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw type of event? That's what we're here to discuss. As you can see, it's the boys, the Stomp Boys. It is your boy, the Beanie Boy, and only the Beanie Boy. But as you can see, I'm not alone. I've got Mr. Presenter, Mr. Editor, Mr. No Days Off, Mr. WrestleDrop himself, and filtered, unfiltered, maybe it's not even him, the anti-hero, Mr. MPKH. Boys, we're here to discuss King and now Queen of the Ring. What on earth are we saying?
Mm, Let me just say that the entire concept of the tournament has been, yeah.
Sure.
That's true.
But the way I would change it is I would do it like this. I'd say the winner of the tournament, both King and Queen, should get a title shot at the Big Four pay-per-view SummerSlam. But I know that's a little too long because Money in the Bank will be straight after, and people are gonna forget. Oh, she won Queen of the Ring. He won King of the Ring. We're getting a title match. Blah blah blah. That type of stuff. And I feel like some people will complain about that. So that's why I say at the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank or SummerSlam, one of the two, which I don't mind. I feel like if you add that stipulation, it brings back the prestige and it makes people care more about it because we're going to be adding in some raw talent, and we'll get to the talent just now.
I got a question. Which are you thinking mid-card title or are you thinking world title?
World title.
I
World
was
title.
about to
I
say,
disagree.
actually,
I disagree.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
obviously the women's championship it's got to be for the world title. There's no mid-card title. But I think it should be for the US or for the Intercontinental Championship. That's what I think. Because I think that then allows Triple H to let the likes of Montez Ford win it, for example, rather than someone who has to be in the main event scene like Seth Rollins. That's what I
yeah,
think. So it
yeah.
gives him an opportunity to actually have a future star win it rather than an already main event guy.
I think
Well,
it goes back to the pool of superstars, and right now the mid-card title is so stacked. There are so many superstars who are either breaking from tag team to mid-card or lower card to mid-card, or people even dropping down from like main event to mid-card. And so the mid-card division is so stacked. And to your point, WrestleDrop, and to a point that a video was made, to the point that the women should have a mid-card title. I think the King of the Ring could play that role for the men. You know what I'm saying? It could be a tournament where the likes of, like you're saying, Montez Ford could show themselves to not only be capable of carrying mid-card titles, because once you win a tournament like that, you're automatically seen as a big guy, you know, or at least that's how it was before they messed up the entire concept. But you win a tournament like that and you go on to bigger and better things. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
nobody would then doubt someone like Montez Ford if they were to win the King of the Ring, go on to win the United States champion or Intercontinental, then be pushed into the main title picture.
For sure.
Nobody will dispute that. So I
Whereas
think it would be better to keep it as a mid-card tournament, definitely.
whereas if Montez
now
had
that
to
I
win it and go for the world title, everyone knows he's not going to beat whoever's the champion for the
Yeah,
title.
and people still have doubts.
So
Yeah.
then, at the end of the day, the King of the Ring is then null and void again. It's worthless again.
Now that I hear it, it makes sense that it should be for the mid-card thing, a mid-card title instead of a world title. Because now it gets to a situation where, let's say, for example, somebody that the fans won't like ends up winning the tournament, then they get a world title shot, then their push gets automatically dropped.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that's the biggest case that WWE should try and avoid. And also, now that Triple H is under control, I think, the mid-card titles like the US and Intercontinental title are in a much better light than how they were under Vince's control.
Exactly.
By a fucking mile. And I'm not even joking.
For sure.
Now we get to the point. Like, go ahead.
No, continue. I was just gonna move on as well.
So now it begs the question: who should participate in the King and Queen of the Queen of the Ring tournament? My bad. So let's start off on the men's side, the King of the Ring. So,
are you asking who should compete or who we think should win? Because compete, there's a lot of names.
I feel like, winning, we're gonna have a different opinion, but yeah. But competing, like, we know it's gonna be guys like, I don't know, Mustafa Ali, Chad Gable, Montez Ford. Who else can be there? Angela Dawkins, Damian Priest, Finn Balor.
Theory.
Who else? Theory.
Yeah, Theory will end up being in there.
Actually,
he's gonna lose the title at Mania, so.
Actually.
Just
no, we can't. No, oh no, oh.
It's gonna happen.
No, I'm not supporting that. Oh no.
Super Cena's gonna come back, bro.
Oh no.
I think Super Cena died in 2014, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, but that's not
anyway,
the point.
not the point. I think,
and I love John Cena, but please, Super Cena is dead.
You gotta have names like Theory, maybe Seth, but I think by that point Seth might be past the US title again, because then I think they're gonna start a thing with him and Cody. You gotta have slightly bigger names, Sheamus, Drew, those types of names as well.
Yeah, you
can I fantasy book the final?
Go for it.
The final two for me, Montez and LA Knight.
Ooh,
that would be my final two.
I was thinking 3 names, okay, but I wasn't
sure. My thing
is
with LA Knight, I see LA Knight winning Money in the Bank. I see it. But I wouldn't mind him being in the final 2.
I think
because everybody loves LA Knight.
See, I think I think LA Knight is a better fit to win the King of the Ring in the format that we want, which is a mid-card opportunity. The Money in the Bank, I do not want a repeat of last year where Theory had to cash in on the United States champion because they basically ruined his credibility as Money in the Bank. And I think LA Knight is just not credible enough to go for the world title. So
my point exactly.
But
I feel like Triple H has learned his lesson from that.
I don't know so much.
Hopefully.
I don't know so much. We'll see.
Hopefully. But I think LA could do so much with that title, the King of the Ring title.
Yeah.
I think.
But sorry to cut you off. No robes, no crowns, no whatever you call that thing that they carry around. None of that. I do not want to see King LA Knight coming in with King music like King Corbin did for 2 years.
Yeah, no, that's
fucking years. And also, Baron Corbin is King of the Ring. I'm still not over that. I'm still not.
Let him win the King of the Ring.
Chad Gable.
Let him win the King of the Ring, and then he's got the title, and he can boast about it. He doesn't need a.
Yeah, he could really elevate that thing though. Yeah. He could. The promos he cuts as King, bro.
Ooh.
He'd be like from a knight to a king.
I'm just imagining.
That would be so beautiful, man.
I'm imagining Stone Cold.
King LA Knight.
I'm imagining Stone Cold's promo after he won it, and I'm just imagining the promo that LA Knight can cut.
Exactly.
Afterwards. But like I was saying, I've got three names that I think could be in the final in some way, or should be. And I'm thinking Montez Ford, LA Knight, so like you, and Santos Escobar. Those are my three names.
I like that idea. Santos Escobar.
Santos
That's
is
one
king
of the
ring,
guys
could
I
also
see in
be
the
fire.
final.
So,
Because
You know how I feel about Santos.
I know how you
Like,
feel about that one.
Santos.
You know how I feel about Santos.
Santos. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but who wins
I
out
feel
of
like
those
those
three?
are my.
I don't know. I'm thinking either Tez or Santos.
For me, I'm going with.
Hey man, that's
Hey,
tough.
For
That's
me, I
tough.
want LA Knight to win the whole thing, man. But it's a situation of who I know, because the way WWE sets up babyfaces to lose in big fight moments, that's exactly why Ford is going to be in the final ahead of Santos. But it looks like Santos is going to be more of a babyface
Yeah.
now that he's aligned himself with Rey Mysterio, which
I'm liking.
I love.
Yeah,
love.
of course.
He was a good face towards the end of his run in NXT. Like, he was super over with the crowd there, all 20 of them. But regardless, so I think
we don't diss NXT out here, please. We don't do that shit here.
But I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
Hey, but we still don't diss NXT.
Moving on.
Okay, so my final is gonna be like this. Yeah, Santos, LA Knight, Montez, and who's a underrated pick that I can
Madcap
go with?
was.
Hell no.
I can
And
just see
Finn
it.
Balor. Finn
Balor could be fire.
I say those are my four candidates to be in the final.
The semi-finals we get from that: Santos versus Finn and Tez versus LA Knight. That's the semi-finals right there. But I was gonna say, we saw Montez's attire when he entered at the Elimination Chamber. He had the crown, he had the big jacket. So I think it's kind of written in the stars. His name on his handle on social media is King Tez. It's written in the stars. So I think Tez.
As long as they don't give him a king. As long as they don't give him a king gimmick, I'm down for Montez Ford winning.
I don't think Triple H will do that.
Yeah, because I'm tired of those king gimmicks.
King
Barrett, that's as far as I can go.
We'd have to give credit to Queen Bianca for that outfit, but I see what you say.
True.
I see what you say.
Okay, so
let's move on to the women, gents.
Completely forgot about
we're not
it.
speaking about the Queen. Let's talk about how, if booked properly, the Queen of the Ring element of the tournament could really elevate someone. And I don't want to say elevate in the sense of, and I know you guys are going to hate me for this, but it's true, what they did with Liv. I mean, elevate to a point where you get someone who you'd consider an underdog and you build them and you make them look good in the tournament and make them a credible rival for whoever is champion at the time. So who are the people that you have in mind to win Queen of the Ring in that format that we're talking about?
Well, seeing as there's already an underdog babyface in the main roster, yeah, that's the obvious answer. But I don't know.
I'm thinking.
I'm not sure.
Liv, Raquel, those are two. Shayna Baszler is another one. I think she could go on. She could turn it into not so much a Queen of the Ring, but more of like, not Gunther's gimmick, but you know, the ring general type gimmick. Basically saying, because she's done this shit in the real world, MMA, she could twist it in that way and run with that afterwards. I don't know who the fourth man or the fourth semi-finalist would be though.
For me, yeah. But here's the thing with the women's division. I feel like they're gonna add in NXT women to the challenge, and I'm not against that. I'm not. So, because it kind of gives us a break from seeing people like Io Sky, Dakota Kai, Bayley. Then we see more NXT women like Sol Ruka, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane. I'm not saying they're going to be in the tournament, but bear with me.
I disagree
But
with
if
that.
I
Though.
had to pick,
I disagree. I think there's so much mid-card talent on the main roster that aren't being used. I don't think you should put any NXT ladies in
the
there.
way that you'd expect them to be used.
Yeah, like I'm thinking Mia Yim, Tegan Knox. There's so many Shotzi, so many names that just aren't being used. I'd rather them be used. NXT has its breakout star tournament. That's their version. So, but I get your point.
But yeah.
No, I want to just put it out there. My final four would be Raquel. I'd put, I don't know, Raquel and Shayna stick out to me as good finalists, especially if how we're hoping it goes is the way they're actually planning to do it. That would be my final. I'm not sure about the other two, and I think, that's my final two, just for that.
Mine would be Liv, Shayna. This is a tricky one. Io Sky, and who else? Who else could?
Let's be honest. They're gonna find a way to throw Natalya in there. She always finds a way.
But at least she puts over talent, unlike a certain legend. Unlike a certain Canadian legend. So yeah, I have no problem with Natalya being in this tournament.
What about someone like, who I think is super underrated, but I think she just had troubles with injuries and her personal stuff. Carmella. What about her being in the top four?
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna say Carmella.
I think she's super underrated.
Deserves a shout.
Actually. And she's back. Like, her in-ring work is getting a lot better. I mean, she's never been bad, but she's literally come back with a breath of fresh air.
Better super kick than the Young Bucks. That's all I'm saying.
She's good on the mic.
Fuck yes. I was waiting. I wanted to be the one to say that.
I think I'd throw Carmella in there, actually.
BeanieBoy's trying to move on from the subject here. Yeah, I think Carmella's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my final four. Liv, Shayna, Io Sky, Carmella.
Poor Raquel doesn't make it in there.
I don't hate Raquel. Don't think I hate Raquel, okay? I like her. It's just, I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right on the main roster. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm just not clicking with her like I used to back in NXT.
Yeah, it's probably because all she does is smile and show off her back muscles. That's literally her gimmick nowadays. I don't know what it is, but anyway, we move.
Are there any final thoughts, gents, before we rip any more superstars apart?
So now that we discussed who we think is going to be in the tournament, our finalists, and who we want to be in there, who wins both the king and the queen of the ring tournaments, respectively?
I think let's go around quickly. I'm going to say Montez Ford and Shayna Baszler.
All right. BeanieBoy?
LA Knight and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, nah. LA Knight and fuck it, Shayna Baszler. I wanted to be the one to say Liv Morgan, but yeah, I feel like there's gonna be something bigger for Liv Morgan this year.
I feel she'll lose in the final.
Because
you could.
I'm gonna say this, and I think, and it sounds a little bit cruel, but Liv Morgan losing the SmackDown Women's title is low key a blessing in disguise because she's improved a lot.
Yeah, her gimmick. I like her new gimmick. It's something more than just. I wouldn't say gimmick, but a character change. It's something more than just the underdog girl that's just trying to fight her way to the top. Something more.
Exactly.
And it's developing each week. But yeah.
Because we know that Liv Morgan is going to be your underdog female babyface of the women's division. Next to Candice LeRae if they book her properly. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the end of this video.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna fucking leave me for that. But anyway. Anyway.
Anyway, we move. I think the next video we make about King and Queen of the Ring will be when the brackets are out, or when we at least have an idea of which superstars are going to be in it. But those were our thoughts on the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. If we're speaking a whole lot of baloney, let us know in the comments. If you like the video, don't forget to stomp that like button. If you haven't already, I don't know what you're doing, but don't forget to stomp that subscription button. And if you want to know every time the boys are in town with the brand new video, don't forget to stomp that bell icon. But it's been the boys, the Stomp Boys. It's been me, the only Beanie Boy, Mr. Presenter, Mr. Editor, Mr. No Days Off, Mr. WrestleDrop, and Mr. Filtered and Unfiltered, Mr. MPKH. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was just too sweet.